Yo, what's poppin', guys? In my last video, I got some requests on how to play through stuff like Nibiru, how to play into like a board going second and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to have some thoughts on this, show some gameplay of me playing through stuff like that here. There's gonna be two main ways to beat Nibiru. One of them is a line that makes Electromite early, that goes into Exceed the Pendulum, and that goes into Appaloosa before your pen summon. That way you can negate the stuff. And the other one is with a super heavy Samurai line, which sets up an Omni negate before you commit to your Pendulum summon. Sometimes you can even do it without your normal summon. Depends on how you want to sequence. So I'm on the Boral Savage here. Other deck lists might prefer to run a Baron as well for an Omni negate. And we're going to be threatening to make an Omni negate here, which is going to force out the Nibiru. So either we get the Omni and it negates Nibiru, or he has to nib us early, and now we get a bunch of stuff that floats here, like the Soul Piercer. We could have just searched Wakaushi if we didn't have the Zefra as well. And we still just have our pen summon available here. Scales is going to get us back our Soul Peacemaker here, and we're just going to pop off now with all of these bodies. Peacemaker, gonna go ahead, grab another ad here. Electromite is amazing because this is going to actually get us not only a free body off of Astrograph, it's going to get us another card in hand, plus we get another draw that we could potentially be discarding for something like the for our Orcust Nightmare. Jeez, I forgot all the names. That's not even what it's called. It's the mermaid, the part of the Orcust line. So we're changing the lineup a bit since we already opened up our simple skeleton here, and we're going to actually send away the Nibiru because our follow-up is kind of awkward this way anyways. But this is going to still keep some of the stuff live. And we're going to end our turn here. They have to add like a normal summon or something, right? They can't add Genroku here because we have the Boral Savage. It has 2 negates, so we can still negate on their turn, even if we negate on our turn. So if they add Genroku and we negate it, it does like nothing for them, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and add a Dora here. So they're going to lead off the turn here by just tributing over the Galatea. It's going to turn off our Orcust Crescendo. Normally, this is the first negate you would want to use, so you can then link off the Galatea to make SP using your IP Masquerena. This is unfortunately turned off. I think this is correct from him because this is definitely very, very threatening. If I just negate Genroku with this, he loses the game on the spot because it's banished. Like, what's he going to do, right? He's going to use Lightning Storm, and now I want to conserve my counter trap Divine Strike as long as possible because this doesn't like have like activation requirements really. It's just a Zefra card face in the extra deck. You can't interact with those. So we're going to lead with the Boral Savage Dragon because our counter trap can negate droplets. So he pitches the Veiler he drew for turn, and now it's very important. I'm going to toggle on here, and now I have priority on the resolution of an effect here to use a quick effect. He has it first, but he doesn't have quick effects. We know the last card in hand is Dora. So with my toggle on, I now have quick effect priority, and I'm going to go ahead and make an Appaloosa here. And now we know the last card in his hand is the Dora he added off of the Magnamhut last turn. We don't see it anywhere here. He never shuffled anything back. That has to be his last card. And if he normal summons it, we'll just negate it. And we have all of our link arrows here. We have at least the Wakaushi in hand. We get to append all this stuff out, and we just win for free here next turn. Okay, for our second game here, we're going to be playing into a Maxx here. So I'm going to slightly commit a bit more here. I'm going to chain the Maxx. There's a few different ways. I could, for example, draw myself here after I get through all my ads, and then I can still go through the whole Orcust line under draw, which is very nice. I'm going to go just a bit greedier here. Our other option is just making Bagooska and passing, or we could go for Bagooska, IP, and the counter trap, the 9 pillars off of the Zefranio. You can see I'm summoning all these dudes out. I'm chain blocking this from Ash because I don't really care about this effect. I really want the counter trap though. I just need to protect my Bagooska because that's going to turn skip my opponent back again, and then I can play again pretty much. So he's going to set up a simultaneous equation cannon, which can delete my entire field, which I am kind of afraid of. Don't really want that. And we're going to make Baguska. Now this is a trap deck, so he might have a way to play through it. But what we're going to do is, this first of all, the Baguska is going to just negate his lady. It's going to negate his lovely. It's going to negate his Ariana. So this should be good enough to at least force him to pass back, and then he can use traps to deal with my board on during my turn, right? So he sets 2 here. I'm going to go ahead and just make an SP here, which still works in a Baguska because it can't be turned to defense position. And I'm going to go for one of his back row. So I'm going to go for the one he set first. You can see here he sets the 2 cards, and if you look to the right of this, they'll have like the little zone indicators. So the first one was set in the middle zone, and the second one was set in the left zone here. And usually, like psychologically speaking, people set the most important cards first, and they're like, oh yeah, maybe I want to set this too as a bluff, right? But like at that point they already committed the cards they wanted to set in the first place. So we're gonna hit the Daruma cannon, which is very nice. I'm going to try to keep the 9 pillars on field here to deal with the equation cannon. And it's actually very hard for him to use it to begin with, because I have the counter trap here. Then the IP reduces another body from my field. He can't manipulate his dudes, like his cards on field with the lady, because he's under Baguska, and this can't like set another card up. And I can also use like the SP to just remove even more bodies to just mess up his math on the SEC as well. So we're just gonna summon out a guy here, and instead of committing into a Beyond the Pendulum, which would be great to like pop 2 of his back row and everything and get a bunch of advantage, it plays very poorly into hand traps. So instead we're going to go for an Exceed the Pendulum, because if he has like a back row I don't really care about, I can just let it resolve and still have my counter trap to like contest something that has more value, right? So we're going to go ahead here, and we're going to make the Nightmare Phoenix. I do kind of mess up my zone placements. So normally you have stuff with diagonal arrows like the Exceed, or Beyond the Pendulum has the diagonal zones. Where's my Electromite? Down here. This has diagonal zones. So I want to keep those free most of the time, so I have more advantage when pen summoning. But the way like the Orcust line works and stuff, especially if I already know that I won't be just like instantly winning the game and I need to actually play on turn 3, I should definitely like keep the zones under the extra monster zones available. So Nightmare Phoenix co-link can get me an extra draw. Also, if I go for access code here, which I will, it really screws over my zones to continue link summoning afterwards. So I don't actually care about this. He's gonna banish Wakalshi. Woo, big deal. I don't really care. We've checked this thing. We know it's big welcome set and simultaneous equation cannon. Now we're gonna go for the mermaid here. This gets the discard the useless card here, summon out this guy, and now when I go for the access code talker, I get to pop another card from the back row. I actually have a bunch of attributes over here, but I think I'm kind of low on time. Oh wait, I think I wanted to swing over the dude first, so he doesn't have the big welcome engrave to bounce my guy back. Because if I pop his back row, I go battle phase, he bounces access code, which is really depressing. Or if I try to destroy the lady on field, it can't be destroyed because it's the back row. I also don't care because I have a negate for this anyways, right? Yeah, so he's going to summon this. This gets put to defense. He's going to bounce it, but it doesn't matter because it's already negated anyways. It gets negated like as soon as it goes to defense position. It's not like an Imperm where you can dodge it or something, right? And I guess it's like if Imperm targets you, you can dodge it, but if Imperm already resolved, you can't like bounce yourself to like be unnegated, right? That only works if you flip it face down. Anyways, this thing is negated. Sucks to be him, but he still gets to trigger his Chandragleer. I don't care about Magnamhut. This does nothing on the field either because of Baguska. Now he's going to pass back. He has no back row here at all. All I have to deal with is the big welcome Labrynth. Maxx isn't going to draw into anything real. We pop this. Now his trap is turned off because he didn't use it early because he was greedy. I could have just remade the access code. The game is just completely over for him anyways. And we win this one as well. All right. So that was essentially our kind of going second duel, I guess, because it went longer into like a grind game. Going second games are pretty much non-games. Either you have a hand trap that causes your opponent to like turn skip, they're playing a completely fake deck, or you just get FTK'd by Snake Eyes Fiends with 12 disruptions. Like, have fun, right? So they're not the most interesting games. The more interesting ones are the ones where you play through a bunch of disruption. So they have the Scarecrow here. They have the negate for the Scarecrow. I have the Scarecrow. They have the Imperm for it. And we already do have our Soul, what is it, Peacemaker? I keep confusing all the names. And they're going to try to keep me off of the Revival with the Scales as well. They really don't want me to get this into rotation. I think at this point, like, I can just make an Omni Negate here if I wanted to, if I had any extenders, which I do. But we're going to go for just a Beyond the Pendulum, because I don't think they have like another disruption. A Chronograph is a great scale here. And I'm going to just add the Zefranu, so I still have access to my Zefra counter trap. I don't really see a way of getting to it through Gallant Granite without expending like a ton of extra resources. I guess I could have, but I'd have to go for Zephyrath, and then I can't use the Beyond. Yeah, I just think this is better, a better way of sequencing it here. I guess it's risky if they had a third hand trap or whatever, but we're gonna use the Chronograph to get another free guy here. Pop a dude, bring back the Chronograph. This is going to get me 2 more guys now. Electromite still gets me a draw that I can use to discard for my Mermaid. So we're on a ton of bodies here, a ton of advantage. Card hand really doesn't matter. We get to make an Appaloosa here. We still go for our Boral Savage here. And now we go for our Phoenix. Discard the card that we just drew because we want to keep the card that we searched, the Zephyr Providence here. We get to go for our Galatea. And again, this is just the normal Orcust line stuff. You've seen this in my other videos as well. When you make the Dingirsu, make sure to add back the Harp Horror, so you have it in graveyard. And then you get to shuffle back the Symbol Skeleton that you used to revive your Galatea here. This just gives you the best follow-up that you have, because you have the Harp Engrave to summon out the symbol, link off into stuff that can then bring back the Dingirsu you have and everything. Yeah, this game is just pretty much over. I have like 20 disruptions. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's what, like 7, but good luck playing the game here, right? I basically hand ripped them for 2 because I played through 2 Imperms. So really show off the power of this. Even without the Secret Village, we still just win against Tenpai all the time. And the deck is a lot more consistent than running like the village bricks and everything. All right, and if you're interested in the deck list that I was running at the time, it's this. Not much more to say than like in my other deck list. It's basically the same thing. You saw the power of it, how I can push through a bunch of hand traps and everything, how I have a lot of good utility. Feel free to tweak this as much as you'd like to or not like to or whatever. And I hope you enjoy playing the deck. See you in the next one.